knows the number of his days, only God. What we have is this moment to live to its highest purpose. I was honored and greatly blessed to be the wife of a cattleman, Jeff Clausen, and to have journeyed alongside him through his days. He left this world this last year on June 1st after sudden complications to treatment for a blood disorder called amyloidosis, and he is greatly missed. But I know that God is here, and I know that his hand is working to help us. One of my most powerful moments was on the morning of the funeral. My eyes fell on our wedding picture, and it made me mad. And I said to God, you knew on that day that I was going to have to do this day. But the answer that I got back, it shaped my days and my nights. The answer was, wouldn't you have still picked him if you would have known? Wouldn't you have still married him? Wouldn't you have still wanted to be with him for 21 years and be the mother of his children? And that just totally changed something inside of me. I went from feeling ripped off to feeling thankful. Of course I wanted those things. And so I am thankful that I got to be his bride, and I have been incredibly blessed. Jeff brought this suburban girl to the farm. He loved raising cattle and producing a nutritious, delicious product. He took very seriously the responsibility of being a steward of the land and of the animals that he was given. He took very seriously the responsibility of feeding a hungry world. Like many of you, beef was what's for dinner at our house, and everyone knew that a BLT sandwich was really beef, lettuce, and tomato. Jeff not only loved working with cattle, though, he really enjoyed working with cattle people. He was proud to be part of the Iowa Cattlemen and was so impressed by the quality and excellence that he found here. Both in Iowa and at the national level, he found value in the give and take learning that happened through sharing the knowledges and experiences together. And he appreciated the impact for the beef industry that was made when working side by side with other producers. What I didn't realize until Jeff was gone is how much I had come to love feeding cattle. It wasn't too often that he would have me out in the lot. Maybe it was because I would get my mud boots stuck in the muck and step right out of them sometimes. Or maybe because our son at a very young age was better at driving a tractor than I was. But I find it interesting how much I do know and how much I have enjoyed staying connected to Jeff by staying connected to cattle. This summer, someone jokingly called me a cattle baroness. It brought to mind a mental image of Victoria Barkley from the show Big Valley. I'm hardly a cattle baroness, but I have been to a lot of baroness-type meetings, and we have an amazing and dedicated guys that have stepped up to the plate and let me come out and help them work cattle. So maybe I'm on my way. Speaking of our guys, I would like to just take a minute to say that there are no better. Between those that work with us every day at the feedlot, especially Jake, Andy, and Dustin, and fellow cattle feeders who have honored their partnership with Jeff through various endeavors together and through the years, have helped to make an impact for us moving forward, mainly Todd Drake and also Randy Yukin, and the support I get from our longtime relationship with our partner and mentor, Wendell Volkins, who thought he was retired. We have been greatly blessed. Cattle feeders are the best. Before I go, I want to tell you about a ranch in Montana, a ranch owned by Jeff's great uncle, Julius Clausen, just south of Glacier. There are no fences between Glacier and the hills of Lincoln, where as a boy Jeff would go every other summer to go work this ranch. It duly moved Montana into Jeff's blood. He thrilled to be in Big Sky country. As a boy, his dad would buy the calves off the ranch and finish them out here in Iowa. Jeff's great uncle had been gone for years, but we traveled on numerous occasions to see the ranch. And just in the last few years, we have been able to buy those same calves. They're everybody's favorite pen of cattle. They're beautiful cattle. Part of the story of Jeff leaving us is that on the day that he died, it was the day that the Montana cattle shipped out. In fact, the guys were bringing them up to the loading chute when Jake got the call that Jeff had not made it. The next part of the story is what we now have, is that we now have this year's calves in our lot. I stood out in the pen with those bawling babies and made phone calls to people and held my phone up for them to hear the sound. I left a message even on my own answering machine so I would remember the sound of those cattle coming in. We are moving forward. We are, because of God's providing hand, proud and honored to be able to feed cattle and to be part of this great industry. So Jeff loved feeding cattle, but he loved Jesus more. Jesus provided a hope for each of us, and he is this moment's highest purpose for living. Jeff's death has brought that reality to us in an even bigger way. So thank you for letting me share our appreciation for what God has done for us through you, our fellow cattle feeders. We are very thankful.